let's jump right into this. In this explainer, we are looking at the UN's master blueprint for totally overhauling how the world grows its food, perfectly timed for World Environment Day 2026 in Azerbaijan. It's a wild irony, right? The very agricultural system keeping us alive is currently one of the biggest threats to our actual survival. But this initiative, driven by the #NowForClimate campaign, aims to literally flip the script. We're going to see how this ground-up plan turns farming from a huge global liability into our absolute best climate solution.
Okay, to really grasp the scale of what we're up against, just look at the footprint of our food. Between producing, processing, shipping, and packaging everything we eat, agriculture and food systems make up a staggering 1/3 of all global greenhouse gas emissions. I mean, to put that into perspective, the entire global aviation industry, every single flight taking off and landing worldwide, is only about 2.5%. Our food system is over 10 times that impact. Plus, farming-driven land use change is still the single largest driver of deforestation. We built a hyper-efficient machine to feed 8 billion people, sure, but we're basically liquidating our natural capital to do it.
And look, the human cost, it's not some distant future projection, it's right now. Degraded ecosystems are actively disrupting the daily lives and physical well-being of about 3.2 billion people today. If we don't drastically pivot, climate change and dead soil could slash global crop yields by 10% by 2050, and in some vulnerable spots, we're talking a plummet of up to 50%. So we're not just talking about abstract environmental loss here, we're talking empty grocery shelves, severe geopolitical instability over water, and yeah, the very real threat of the $20 avocado.
But hey, there's a practical, actionable way out of this mess. Here is our roadmap for how the UN's World Environment Day 2026 initiative plans to execute this transformation. We'll hit 1. The blueprint goals. 2. Climate-smart practices. 3. Integrating tech. 4. Empowering communities. And finally, 5. The road to 2030.
Starting off with Section 1, the blueprint goals, anchored by the #NowForClimate campaign. The absolute foundational tool here is climate-smart agriculture, or CSA. Now, the key word you really need to focus on is simultaneously. For the longest time, people just assumed, well, you either protect nature or you grow enough food to make a profit. You can't do both, right? Well, CSA completely shatters that binary idea. It's a total paradigm shift where we don't compromise. It's about engineering farming systems that actively suck carbon out of the air, survive brutal extreme weather, and maintain or even boldly boost crop yields, all at the exact same time. And the economics? This is where it gets super exciting because the targets have massive financial incentives built right in. Over the next 3 to 5 years, the blueprint aims to slash reliance on expensive chemical fertilizers and pesticides by 20 to 30%, while saving 25 to 40% of irrigation water. But here's the real kicker for the farmer. By drastically cutting those heavy input costs and simultaneously unlocking premium organic markets, the goal is to actually boost a farmer's net income by up to 25%. Honestly, making sustainable agriculture the most profitable option on the table is the only way this is going to scale. All right, moving to Section 2, climate-smart practices. How do we move from monoculture to regeneration? Basically, we have to stop treating farming like an extractive mining operation and turn it into a closed-loop biological engine. The old way relies on super destructive habits. We're talking burning crop residue, which causes terrible smog and literally burns away precious soil carbon, or planting the exact same crop year after year until the dirt is practically dead. The new way embraces waste to wealth. Instead of burning crop waste, farmers bake it into biochar, this amazing, stable carbon sponge that holds water and nutrients for centuries. We transition into diversified crop rotations and green manuring, where you literally grow plants just to chop them up and mix them back into the earth as living fertilizer. We actually know for a fact this works. Just look at Ananthapur in India. This place is notoriously dry, semi-arid, and was pushed to the absolute brink by chemical monoculture. The soil was turning to dust. But by fundamentally shifting to minimal tillage, meaning turning the soil over as little as possible to keep those crucial fungal networks intact, and using natural inputs, they totally revitalized the landscape. They recovered soil carbon, stabilized their yields, and built a massive physical buffer against brutal droughts. It's living proof that we can bring degraded land completely back to life. Which brings us to Section 3, integrating tech, the digital nervous system. So we take this ancient, deeply biological respect for the soil and give it a massive hardware and software upgrade. AI is stepping in to crunch complex weather and satellite data, instantly generating localized alerts for farmers to predict sudden pest outbreaks. Then you have IoT sensors planted directly in the dirt, continuously taking the vital signs of the microclimate and soil moisture. And for us as consumers, blockchain technology is creating an immutable digital passport. Imagine scanning an apple at the store and instantly seeing exactly which farmer it came from, the precise amount of water saved, and the carbon captured in its soil. Pretty wild, right?
The day-to-day workflow on a climate-smart farm essentially becomes this automated feedback loop. Step 1, drones fly overhead and in-ground sensors quietly gather raw, real-time data on how the crops are doing. Step 2 is where the magic happens. AI models crunch that data and ping the farmer's phone, basically saying, hey, this specific acre needs water today and that one doesn't. And step 3, once the crop is harvested, that entire verifiable history gets permanently logged onto a blockchain, proving its premium value to the open market.
Up next, Section 4, Empowering Communities, because tech is nothing without the human element. Yeah, the hard truth about all this incredible tech is that it is literally useless if the local community doesn't trust it or know how to use it. That's why the human element is the absolute anchor of this blueprint. Instead of dry, top-down lectures, this strategy champions grassroots leadership. It deliberately focuses on women-led farmer-producer organizations and youth climate clubs. Why? Because statistically, women and youth are the fastest vectors for lasting community change. They're spreading the word seamlessly through local language WhatsApp campaigns and funding local incubators so rural entrepreneurs can build customized agritech startups for their own regions. And this creates a totally new economic engine for these communities. Historically, a farm was basically a one-product factory, super vulnerable to market swings. This blueprint transforms it into a diversified portfolio. Farmers won't just scrape by on basic crop sales anymore. They'll generate revenue from certified organic premiums. They'll get literal cash from corporations buying carbon credits because their healthy soil is pulling CO2 out of the air. They can even make a side hustle producing and selling surplus bioinputs, like high-grade compost, to neighboring farms. It's a win all around. Okay, Section 5, the road to 2030. Let's look at the implementation roadmap. Now, this isn't some vague 50-year wish list. This is an aggressive, rapid-fire global overhaul designed to hit critical mass before the end of the decade. In the first 18 months, they're launching pilot districts and setting up that digital tracking infrastructure. From 18 months to 3 years, the focus relentlessly shifts to scaling these practices across vast farm blocks and getting those lucrative carbon accounting systems working so farmers actually get paid. Finally, in the 3 to 7 year window, the goal is mainstreaming these protocols into national policies to trigger monumental, landscape-level ecosystem restoration. Because ultimately, the vision for 2030 is way bigger than just doing slightly less damage. It's a complete paradigm shift. We're talking about a climate-resilient, soil-first agricultural system, a sector that not only feeds people, but also restores land, conserves biodiversity, and empowers rural communities. So we have the blueprint, we've got the aggressive targets, the deep biological practices, the AI logistics, and the community structures to make it happen. We know for a fact that healthy soil can literally pull our excess carbon out of the sky while growing us more nutrient-dense food. If nature truly is our greatest, most sophisticated technology, well, the question isn't whether we have the ability to do this. The real question is, are we finally ready to install